Tonight, a whale of a time, the marine mammals wowing locals with one of the best seasons in years. And moving forward, a researcher looking at how the community can progress in the face of tough times.
This is Southern Cross News with Tim Hatfield.
Good evening. Also tonight, Broken Hill Council responds to local claims of a lack of transparency in decision-making. But first tonight, 6 rail crossings in the region will have their approach speed reduced to 80 kilometres an hour. The Road Safety Minister says the changes will help reduce the amount of crashes and near misses on rural roads between vehicles and trains.
In the last 4 years, there have been 13 crashes or near misses between cars and trains on South Australia's rural roads. Looking to reduce the risk, the state government has cut the speed cars can approach rail crossings at 14 regional sites.
From either 110 or 100 kilometres an hour down to 80 at the approach to those level crossings. And this has got one specific objective, and that is to improve the road safety outcomes.
Crossings at Horrocks Pass and the Summit in the Flinders Ranges, the Wilkins Highway near Jamestown, Iron Barron and Point Lowly roads near Wyala, and the Flinders Highway just north of Port Lincoln will be affected. Mr Malinowski says the changes had the tick of approval from local residents, who were consulted on the issue.
70% of people who responded to the survey said that they were supportive of the proposition. We've got a statewide strategy to look at the safety of level crossings throughout our communities.
The changes are now in effect across the sites, and while the speed limit may be slower, Mr Malinowski says we should always remain vigilant when crossing rail tracks in country areas.
We encourage motorists who are crossing level crossings in regional areas to obey the signs, but also pay attention to any potential oncoming train.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Port Lincoln is experiencing its best whale season in years, with humpbacks and southern right whales making their migration into the region. Whales have been spotted just metres from the town's jetty, causing plenty of excitement amongst local whale watchers.
A spectacular sight, whales in Port Lincoln Bay, just metres from the shore. Some coming within arm reach, producing that perfect photo. This year's whale season has been one to behold. Even while filming this interview, a whale was spotted just feet away.
There was a whale and a calf just out the front here swimming around, so yeah, it's amazing. The
sightings have caused plenty of excitement in the region, cars pulling off major highways just for a glimpse of the mighty mammals.
Every year we're getting more and more sightings of whales. Every 2 to 3 years we have a bigger influx with a quieter period in between, but this year's is a really good whale watching season so far.
But some whale watchers have ignored regulations to keep migration safe and returning each year.
We have incidents where people disregard the rules and disregard the actual welfare of that animal by actually breaching these rules.
These rules include keeping boats at least 100 metres away or 300 metres if whales have a calf. The Department of Environment urging vigilance to protect our unique coastline.
If they do see an incident like this, they take as many observations as they can and report it, video footage or photo imagery, and report it to their local junior office or SAPO office as soon as possible.
But for the most part, those on dry land are happy keeping an eye out for a rare sight. Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
The Broken Hill City Council says it's aiming to make its decision-making more transparent and accessible to locals. Following recent communication surveys, many residents said council is not listening to feedback and is not keeping the community informed about what's happening in local government.
The council says recent feedback from the community has been good, but there is room for improvement.
In all, I would say that it was probably, more positive than negative. I mean, certainly we know that we've got people out there that don't think that we communicate at all and we never engage, and we accept that, and we can always work to try harder in that space.
Council received just over 100 responses to its surveys, with well over half saying they knew how to contact council and where to find information. However, only 45% of responses said they felt well informed about what is happening at council, and only 32% felt council listened to feedback.
A lot of the problems that people have are really historic. From my perspective, I think council is very transparent and engages very well with the community.
Mr Ronkin highlighted council's increased presence on social media and the higher number of community engagement sessions regarding projects and events as big positives. The idea of live streaming council meetings in the future has also been suggested to increase transparency.
Where we can, we make sure that everything that we know the community is aware of, and we take that very seriously, and we think we do it very well.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
A woman has died following a crash north of Broken Hill yesterday. At about 10 a.m, emergency services were called to Cameron Corner Road at Tibooburra in the New South Wales northwest. Police found a Suzuki Vitara had rolled off the road. The 55-year-old woman driving the car had died at the scene. A 61-year-old woman who had been a passenger in the car was treated for a broken wrist and possible spinal injuries before she was taken to Tibooburra and then flown by the Royal Flying Doctors to Adelaide for further treatment. Inquiries into the cause of the crash are continuing. Well, stay with us. Still to come in tonight's local news. Moving forward, a researcher looking at how the community can progress in the face of tough times. The details ahead. Welcome back. A researcher from Hobart has chosen Port Augusta as a case study for her Masters in Regional Development and began holding workshops today. She's aiming to uncover how communities can find their wealth in what's called social capital over big business.
A way to get the Port Augusta community talking, and also a way for Megan Smith to conduct her research. Hosting a World Cafe, she's looking at how effective these events are in building community engagement.
A World Cafe is an intentional conversation, so we do hope that people will be really courageous and come and share their knowledge and their wisdom and try and help us pair back to identifying what are some of those core issues and building that core vision.
Her research looks at social capital, in other words, value in a connected community.
It's about trust and it's about networks within communities. And you know, the research shows that where communities have high levels of trust, they're more willing to work together, and they're also more willing to support each other in terms of trying new things.
With the closure of Alinta last year, Port Augusta is the perfect case study for communities moving from smokestack chasing to working together. And Megan says working together often boosts the local economy.
Good social enterprise has often been a really good driver of economic growth in small and regional towns.
Today, through discussions and questionnaires with locals at the Port Augusta World Cafe, she hopes to take these findings back to Hobart to see if this method really works.
So we hope to be able to actually say this is one model of intentional conversation that small communities might use, and it might be effective, and it doesn't cost a whole heap of money either, which is, you know, to give a little bit of power back, I suppose, to local communities as they make the transition into the global economy.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla police need locals' help to find items stolen from a property in Whyalla Stewart last week. Sometime between 7:30 on Wednesday and 3 p.m. on Friday, thieves broke into a property on Bevan Crescent. They got away with a TV, a laptop computer, a gaming console and a number of DVDs. Anyone with information on the incident is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000 and you can remain anonymous. The Upper Spencer Gulf has sealed a deal with higher education institutions to help make studying in regional areas easier. With the lack of scientific and technical facilities across regional South Australia, students will now be able to receive face-to-face help from a tutor based in Port Pirie.
A partnership between 5 education providers has officially been formed, and students studying tertiary and higher education online will now be able to visit TAFE SA in Port Pirie to get the help they need.
A hub, a centre for people to come in. Yes, okay, majority of the work will be online, but what they'll be able to be provided with here is somebody on the ground who can work with them more personally, work through issues, help them with particular aspects of their courses.
The hub will provide students with facilities they need to locally study.
Looking to provide something locally that will help support kids stay in the country.
At the moment, 20% of regional students studying online will never complete their studies. And it's hoped by having face-to-face contact, over 80% of students will finish their degree.
If the quality of or the extension of education in our city, it'll encourage professional people to improve their profession and encourage people that aren't professional to move up the scale of learning.
Mayor Rhodey pleased with the milestone.
Really pleased with how things are progressing, and really look forward to being able to provide a model for regional students to access tertiary and higher education.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Another CEO sleepout is being held tonight, this time in Port Augusta, to raise money and awareness for the local Vinnies. It comes as part of National Homelessness Awareness Week, and those participating will be sleeping with nothing but cardboard and blankets.
Cardboard, blankets and warm clothes will be the only thing protecting those doing a CEO sleepout in Port Augusta tonight. Organiser Mary McKenzie says like many locals without homes, they won't be having a good night's sleep.
Expecting to be pretty uncomfortable, down to 1-2 degrees, so pretty cold, but a lot of people do that, most nights, so we can do it for at least one night, and it's for a good cause.
Part of National Homelessness Week, 17 people from Port Augusta are participating and they've already raised $800.
It's a lot more common than you think, homelessness. There's people just in cars or people, going between houses and, it's just helping out and giving back.
Ahead of tonight's event, a homelessness expo was held today, also raising awareness for Port Augusta's services and support for those without a roof over their head or a warm bed each night. Tonight, participants will sleep on cardboard here at the Port Augusta railway station, with trains passing just metres away and overnight temperatures expected to fall to just 2 degrees. They say sleeping rough is all for a good cause.
It'll be restless, I'm sure, because there is a lot of trains going through the night. But once again, that just adds to it, the real experience. Railway stations are very common places for homeless people to seek shelter during the night and especially during winter.
Mary says the event is a chance to give.
It's my way of giving back, and I guess lending a platform to, a cause that is common in our community and raising awareness and funds. So, it's our way of giving back.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. When we return after the break, a coaching call-up, the Broken Hill product, getting the big gig at the Gold Coast Suns. The details ahead. The state government has launched its new $40 million Fund My Neighbourhood program. The money will be divided over 2 years, and Port Pirie residents and community groups are being called upon to submit ideas to help improve the city.
Applications for Fund My Neighbourhood opened today, and the Regional Development Minister is urging the public to get involved. Ideas can be diverse, from infrastructure upgrades to mural paintings on silos.
Community groups would be the one that I would be suggesting, working with their councils, of course. There could be upgrading playgrounds, could be walking trails, could be anything whatsoever.
Mr Brooks says the funding is all about giving Port Pirie residents a say about where they would like to see the money spent.
Get out there, get on the website and ask for it and look at it, and then again apply for it.
And locals can nominate ideas ranging from $10,000 to $150,000. But it's important to bear in mind this is a one-off grant, and to be successful, ideas will need to have minimal ongoing council maintenance.
We all moan and groan about a lot of things not happening out there. Here's $20 million, and if we don't apply for it, well, it's our own fault.
A link to the nomination website can be found on our Facebook page. Nominations close Friday, September 8. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
A new campaign targeting men's health will be launched this month by Lifeline in Broken Hill. The How's Your Mate campaign has received great support from the community so far, with the local footy league now also getting on board.
Getting blokes thinking about their social, physical and mental well-being.
The suicide rates in Australia amongst men are very high, and this is a great opportunity for us to be able to get the message out there.
The How's Your Mate campaign encourages men to reach out and seek help if they're going through tough times, and to also look out for their mates.
It's important for us to get men to identify and talk about these sort of things. It's something that, being a male myself, we struggle to deal with.
The campaign has already received big support from the Australis Roofing Company, and now AFL Broken Hill is showing support.
When Jonah approached us about the idea of How's Your Mate and its focus on men's health and well-being, given AFL Broken Hill and the competition is predominantly a men's sport, we thought it'd be a great opportunity.
The last round of the season will be the How's Your Mate round, with support groups and health organisations all converging on the Jubilee Oval, setting up marquees and talking to the community. Mr Cumming highlighted recent AFL stars taking time away from the game to get themselves right as a step in the right direction, and says the more we see of that, the more it's going to be accepted.
And that's probably what this round's about, just to highlight that it's okay to ask for help, it's okay to seek help, it's okay to ask questions of your mates just to see if they're okay, and support them as best you can within a football club.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
And Broken Hill's own Dean Solomon has been named as the interim coach of the Gold Coast Suns after long-standing coach Rodney Eade was sacked last night. Solomon played for the North Broken Hill Footy Club as a junior before joining the Bendigo Pioneers in the TAC Cup. He played 209 games of AFL, most of them with Essendon, before finishing his career at Fremantle. He's been serving as the assistant coach at the Suns since their first season in 2011. Well, turning to local sport now from over the weekend, a very wet one for the netballers in Port Lincoln. Jason Kemp joins us with a wrap-up of the results. Jace, some frantic scenes down around those parts as the netballers ran for cover over the weekend.
Yeah, that's right, Tim. The weather caused havoc here on the weekend. Players and umpires forced to dash for cover as the wind and rain set in. But after the storm front passed, the players dried off. Games continued with Imperials defeating Boston's. Waybacks drew with South and Wanilla scored a big win over St Mary's. Turning to Port Pirie, Centrals held off a late charge from Blue Wren, hanging on by 1 goal, and Sollies defeated Celtics by 12 points. The Lions' Taylor Stevens named Player of the Week. In Port Augusta, the Magpies overcame the Vikings in a tight game, edging them out by 5 points, and the Railways cruised to victory over St Joseph's by 6 goals. In Whyalla, True Blue accounted for YCW, getting home by 7 points, while the Warriors didn't have any trouble against the Roos, winning in a blowout. And finally, in the northern area, there was a draw between Southern Flinders and Jamestown, and Broughton proved too strong for Crystalbrook. Turning to soccer now, and Port Lincoln games were abandoned due to the wild weather. But in Port Pirie, the Northern Demons had a strong win over Playford in the NPL State League, while in the Amateur League, Savoy had a very tough day at the office, going down to Garn Kilburn 5-0. In Whyalla, Croatia crushed the Lions 7-0, while Still drew with Westlands 2-0. Over to Broken Hill, Alma drew with Celtic, and St Joe accounted for West 2-1. And finally, in the women's, Alma crushed Celtic, and West defeated St Joe's 2-0. Tim, that's all the sport we've got for another week, but we'll be back on Friday with our expert footy tippers from around the regions. And if you've got sporting results you want seen on TV, make sure you drop us a line at localsport@sca.com.au. Tim.
Good stuff. Thank you, Jace. Jason Kemp there. Well, stay with us after the break. A look at how the local weather is panning out for the rest of the week. Welcome back. Turning to the weather now, a fine and sunny day today. 19 the top for Port Augusta and for Whyalla as well. Port Pirie and Port Lincoln both on 17 today, and a fine 15 the top in Broken Hill. On the national satellite image, a few patches of cloud about, but for the most part it's clear skies across the board for the next couple of days at least. On the waters, the winds to 20 knots and mainly to the north, the seas to 1.5 metres in southwesterly. Sunrise tomorrow morning just past 7 o'clock at 6 minutes past. So looking like a fine day again into tomorrow, warming up to 22 degrees for Port Augusta and for Whyalla as well. Port Lincoln on 21 with Port Pirie on 20. Broken Hill fine tomorrow a top of 18 degrees. And then looking ahead, a bit of a change into Thursday. Some showers returning around Port Lincoln, 18 degrees the top, then a wet 15 to wrap up the week, though fine for the weekend. Cleve with showers and 19 for Thursday and overcast 15 by Friday. However, Woodner also seeing showers, 19 for Thursday, but then fine as we hit the end of the week. Whyalla fine for Thursday, however, 22 degrees the top, then a fine 17 for Friday. Port Augusta 23, then 18 degrees to run out this week. Kadina showers and 18 for Thursday, then a fine at 15 on Friday. Port Pirie fine 21 degrees for Thursday, then 16 for Friday and Saturday. Clare will see a few showers about and 17 for Thursday, then a fine 12 degrees on Friday. Broken Hill a windy Thursday and then 23, also 17 by Friday, and looking mainly fine and sunny. And that is the local news for this Tuesday evening. Don't forget you can stay up to date with us on Facebook and on Twitter. If you'd like to get in touch, you can drop us an email. You can also catch past bulletins on our website and on YouTube as well. We'll see you back here tomorrow night from 6:30. I'm Tim Hatfield. From all of us here at Southern Cross News, enjoy your evening. Good night.